It will be Team Frontier 2 is Azaz and Sun Tzu. Team Xeon is Inori and Ananuki. Team Mithy is Mithy 1v9 and Kabelki, I think is how I'm saying that. It may just be Belki. And then a troubled few who will be playing in both groups is our beloved long-term competitor Ninja and Killshot. And I believe Ninja and Killshot have played, I think even as a team, in every single Chess Rush co-op clash ever. So they're the long-term veterans. Oh, we got it. The group has begun. I'm going to go ahead and launch in. I'm a little bit worried about today because we had so many spectator crashes a few weeks ago. We got through last week without any crashes on the stream, but other people around it had like crashes. So who knows? This could either be really solid or break every 5 seconds. We'll find out. Welcome to game number 1. Let's take a look at the players and the teams. Hopefully, we're all loaded in here. I'm a little bit worried because I don't see any action happening, so I'm actually going to reconnect. Glad we got that out of the way.
Out of the way, he says, as though it will never happen again.
It will never happen again. I know it to never happen again, because I have asked the game not to do it again. Is anything standing out to you as your spectator mode is presumably working?
Something is really standing out to me right now. If anybody remembers from last week, Assassins did really, really well. And currently nobody has any Assassins.
Huh. I think I'm back in the game properly, but it is prompting me to collect my weekly login rewards in addition to spectating this game. So wild.
I got that too. Yeah, it's something. Interesting developments so far. By round 2, Isaias had picked up a 2-star Moonlight Dragon. That's pretty good for him.
You're right. Isaias with that 2-star Moonlight is solid. I'm not sure where he's going with it. He could go Elf. That kind of looks on offer. I'm glancing down the lineup, and you're right. No Assassins after they were so powerful last week. And I've been in my own casual play just running full Assassin and dominating people. So it is kind of curious to me that nobody's running them.
It is entirely possible that the explanation is nobody was offered them.
Mm-hmm. You need 3 to get the early buff, and I've seen some people just advocate for the fact that they're not worth collecting until you have that buff. So, we'll see how things play out. I'm keeping an eye on Inori's board right now. He just beat Isaias despite that 2-star Moonlit Dragon. Isaias does have the 2-star Moonlit, but the rest of his board's pretty bad for an early game. And he's being past Beast buff, which doesn't in any way correlate to what he has. He seems to have made the decision, hey, we're going full elf.
That's a decision, all right. If I could suggest possibly why Inori succeeded there, it's because Inori's being passed an assassin.
Inori, I'm not sure I'll believe in your causation correlation. My own explanation, and you know I love the warriors, is that he does have 3 warrior, 3 furry pretty darn early on, which is
yes, absolutely
very good. Unfortunately, not as good apparently as what Nagasa is running. This boy is sitting on 3 hunter, 3 warrior, 2 beast.
That's a pretty good composition for this stage of the game.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to work out... He must have been a substitution for Team Mithy. I assume they are still Team Mithy, but those aren't the accounts that signed up. Maybe they even just renamed, but the 2 players with the 5K tag on them are presumably still Team Mithy.
Indeed.
So yes, he's got himself the Hunter backline, which is very powerful. He is being passed one of those Hunters as well, the Hog Rider being thrown over to him by his bunny. I hold to the fact that the Hog Rider is one of the most powerful early game units, just because it works with everything.
I agree. It's definitely a solid pickup. The only downside, I'm sure, in your opinion, is that it might incline people towards moving into rider-based compositions.
Yeah. Well, I think Rider is really good for early game. I think you grab like a Rider during the early game. Also have a Goblin Rider, then you get the 2 Rider buff. Like, that's solid. I think problem comes when your late game is 6 Rider. Because nobody wins 6 Rider late games these days.
No, well, I mean, nothing I think beats six. Probably. Well, okay, so six assassin was nerfed slightly. Possibly things beat six assassin now.
Mm.
Poppy at the bottom has picked up a 2-star Lilith to go with his 1-star Stinger. So he's maybe going to move into assassins.
So I've been really enjoying the assassins, even despite the nerf. Um, but it may be just because they are such an all or nothing composition. Nobody wants to run them for fear of the nerf being a nothing. So I'm going to be curious to
Right.
see if that holds over the course of the 4 games tonight. Because it may well be that people are just a little skittish and they'll remember pretty soon.
Yeah, especially if somebody comes from behind and builds an assassin composition and destroys everybody.
So the only assassins
Oh
on the
boy.
board are the Lilith we just watched. And I believe there's a Stinger somewhere. I'm looking for Human Sorcerer as a late game. The way to get there is, I personally think it's one of the most powerful comps in the game. The way to get there is typically through Warrior, because Sorcerers suck early game. So you go through Warrior to Sorcerer,
Absolutely.
Warrior to Human Sorcerer. So you can see a lot of people kind of indicating towards it. In fact, the entire top half of our board is Warrior comps right now.
Yeah, that's Inori is also on a warrior comp. Azias picked up 4 riders. We'll see how that works out.
Your boy! Standing up for the comps you believe in!
I don't really believe riders is superior to anything else.
Oh, this coward. This intellectual coward. He spent so long telling me riders were the. If
I
this
don't
is
think I never said they're the best. I think they're viable if you get all 6.
I. We'll see. As has himself the 4 riders. And as I said, I think 4 riders is solid during the early game. I think he's actually facing a lot of people who have rolled really well into the warrior comps, though. So I think he will
Everybody has
struggle.
rolled well into the warrior comp.
I think he will struggle because a decent warrior comp is just better than a decent rider comp. And he has a lot of 1-star riders, so it's not even an especially decent rider comp he's running. I was curious to see him pivot that way, though, because initially we looked at Isaias' comp and we said, oh, he's going elf. And he
All right. So
kind of
he's
peeled
probably
away
about
from
to
that.
transition back to elf. He's still holding all of the elves on his bench, but he purchased at least 2 of the riders in 1 round.
Mm. So
So
you
that
think
may
this
have
was
been
just an attempt to win a few early game rounds?
a spur of the moment pivot. Yeah.
He sticks with it. I would much prefer him going elf right now to Rider. And he did sell the Calamity he had on his bench. He had a 1-star Calamity on his bench and he sold it, which indicates, yeah, he's selling all the rest of the Riders on his bench, which indicates that he's not going Rider long term. This is, again, just something he's doing to try and win a couple rounds during the early game. But it isn't working, Doc. He's got a
You know,
correct total of 46 HP.
Leko and Naga, is that what is that anyway?
I haven't seen his full name, but
No, neither have I. It's NAG
I'm abbreviating it to Naga.
AS. Yes. They have a decent number of 2 stars at this point, and that is also a balanced composition. Naga is currently running 3 warrior, 3 hunter, 2 Warlock, 2 Undead, 2 Beast.
Mm-hmm. The pivot did happen over on Isaias' board. You were correct in that call, Kai. We have 5 Elf currently. You're still getting the 2 Rider buff from the Goblin Rider and the Unicorn Cavalier. What's curious to me about this, unless I'm mistaken, I'm going to take a longer look at this board as it respawns. Yeah, so he could take out that Goblin Rider and play a Nightingale and get the 6 Elf buff. Instead, he levels up. So we should see the Nightingale on the board in a moment for that 6 Elf buff.
Yep.
In a moment for that 6 Elf buff. There we go.
Get it on the board already.
I'm so paranoid from the amount of times that I've accidentally not played the final unit.
Oh, yeah.
Just run out of time.
Yeah, Cafriel always advises me put the unit on the board first and then start clicking to level up.
And if he advises you, it's probably right.
Oh, he's
this
certainly
isn't
better
working.
in the game than I am.
Oh, no, maybe he's stabilized. So this is the pivot. This needs to work. And it looks like it has. His front line is very, very weak, which is going to become a problem against some of the warrior comps. But nobody's pivoted towards the sorcerers yet, so there's nothing to shut down his hunters. So he should win these rounds.
I agree.
I like this pivot. I think he has a lot of good units going. Let's talk about other boards. Anything exciting you right now?
Well, Ninja and iKillshot are both running Warrior Warlock. Ninja has the full 6 warriors. iKillshot only has 5.
Mm-hmm. iKillshot's suffering a little bit in that 65 HP range. But Ninja and iKillshot, as a tag team, are doing real well together. I'm a big fan of Warrior Warlock because the Warlock buff, the lifesteal you get from it, if you play 2 Warlocks, you get 25% lifesteal. That makes
15.
up... Sorry, 15, 4 for 25.
Sorry,
that...
TJ.
No, you're right. Good call. That makes up for the fact that you don't have the stuns that normally makes the Warlock comps work. The Warrior comps work. When you get to the late game, you want to have General of War, Kraken, and Shakaraka in with your Warrior comp to win the game and to make up for the fact that you don't have backline damage. But you can't have that during the early game and also have 6 Warrior. So what you do is you get the Warlock buff, and that just makes your Warriors tanky enough they survive not having backline damage.
Yeah, that is a very good explanation of it. If you don't have damage, preventing the other team from doing damage and healing is a alternative to have your units not die before theirs. Let's take a brief break to talk about a chat favorite. Lecco is currently running 4 furries.
Nice. And you're right. He's not even got full warrior buff. This seems to be a directed attempt at going for the furry undead combo, which is really exciting for me, because that's not normally what you see. If you get 4 furries, you get maximum furry shield, which it's called a furry shield because it prevents you from having to pick up any more furries. It gives you, that's a 2,000 damage shield. Then you can also, theoretically, if you have 8 unit slots, run 4x undead and strip away 50 armor from all your enemies. And that would function, here's what I think he's going for, that would function as a really solid set of buffs to complement a hunter backline. Because you've got, from the undead, solid hunter sorcerer backline with a armor pen advantage. Your hunters then do extra damage, and they're protected by the shield from that front line.
Yeah, unfortunately, it does not seem to be working out amazingly well for him.
Depends on the opponent. He's going to chew up his ass, I think, here.
So he's doing all right against Zayas?
Ah, I speak too
Maybe,
soon.
maybe.
Azaz overwhelms him with his backline units and like it's another loss. Azaz actually hasn't lost in a while. What's his win streak at? 2 wins.
Uh,
So he's doing pretty good. Um, the one loss he had was like 2 HP. He was at like 43 HP or something. Now he's at 40 a couple rounds later. It's a good
yeah,
sign.
he's two-starred most of his elves. Very unfortunately has not seen even a single second evergreen. That might be because Poppy is sitting on a 3-star and an extra for some reason.
You are right. He does have an extra evergreen on his bench. And with a grand total of 3 crystal, I am not really sure why.
Speaking of crystal count, Naga, unsurprisingly, is floating a huge amount of crystals, but Sun Tzu is also carrying a large amount of crystals, as
Yep.
is Ninja.
They both got solid economy. The amount Naga has is a little ridiculous because you don't need more than 50 to get maximum interest.
He was,
Um,
yeah, saving to level up without losing interest.
so we'll get that level up. You do see max interest on Ninja as well as Sun Tzu. I'm still very confused as to what. I'm glad you drew my attention toward Poppy's board because I don't know what this man's going for. He's got the beginnings of a Druid comp, but it's kind of too late for a Druid comp to be really effective. You want Druid comp to be effective during the early game. Into the mid game, if you get those 3 stars, then they can be really scary and help you bridge towards a late game. But he doesn't have anything to bridge
Yeah,
towards, and he hasn't executed on that mid game.
the
So
the late
things look
game
dire.
the late game transition from druids, I think, is usually beasts. But what Poppy is sitting on is elves and an extra assassin,
Mm-hmm.
which looks like
And the
he's
spare evergreen.
and a spare evergreen, but it
It's
looks
like the
like he's
goldfish
really
cracker
looking
that
for a
slides down the back of the couch, and then a week later,
oof,
when you're hungry,
oof.
you find the goldfish cracker. He's saving it for later.
It looks like he's just holding out for the blade dancer, sword dancer, the epic elf assassin.
You're right. He doesn't. Oh no, he could have 6 elf if he played the Forest Breath. If he played the Forest Breath, he'd have 6 elf, which I think would be a solid shout over where he's currently at.
Yes, absolutely.
He'd probably have to lose undead buff for it, but I'd do that.
I think the durability is worth it.
Um, as is Poppy gonna be dealt another pretty dire blow here. 7 HP left. So he doesn't have much in the way of economy. He does finally sell that evergreen we were harping on him for. He's looking to build a 3-star Lilith. He's 1 away from that, but I don't know that that saves him. He's got the econ to roll a few times here, and he, I think, just needs to spend it. Oh, but he's a level behind as well. He needs to level up, but he doesn't even have anything really to play.
Well, a
Level
1-star
up.
forest breath.
Yeah, level up, play the Forest Breath. If he doesn't play
Well,
the Forest Breath here, I'm going to be
that's a
upset.
3-star nightingale.
He instead rushes for the 3-star Nightingale, but I don't think that'll save him because he's 2 levels behind some of these boys. Killshot only has 7 characters on the board, but with a fairly weak composition and only 6 characters, I don't know that a 3-star Nightingale is going to save you because he isn't even running the full health buff. If anything, the fact he had a 3-star Nightingale should have been a call to action for him to sacrifice for that elf buff to keep that Nightingale alive longer, as is instead he goes out that round, joined by Sun Tzu.
Let's take a quick look at what Poppy's teammate Inori is doing, which is
dying pretty quickly.
Not quite getting us up to 6 warrior, looks like.
Oh no! He's not been past that 3-star Nightingale
He
either.
wasn't
That's
past the
rough.
3-star anythings.
Oh
He's
yeah, because
being
there was the
passed.
3-star Evergreen as well.
Yes, he's being passed a 1-star Stinger and a 2-star Lilith.
Well, it's the thought that counts.
I suppose.
5 warrior, 3 furry. One away from the complete buff on either of those.
Yeah,
This is a kind
that's
of
a
scatterbrained comp, which works really well during the early mid game, but just isn't going to work come late game against organized compositions.
agreed.
And case in point, that's going to be his game, I think. Only 10 points for Honori's side. I believe that's Team Xenon, but let me check before I dock points. Yes,
Oh,
it is Team Xenon.
For good news for Isaiah now, there should be evergreens in the pool that he might be able to find.
Nice. But Isaiah is in trouble. Him and Sun Tzu over on Team Frontier
no.
2.
He just sold the evergreen. Looks like he's looking for a Punisher transition.
I don't like that. I think I believe more in Elf late game than I do in Punisher's late game. Because the damage that the Demon Punisher comp can get is kind of capped. Whereas, at least with Elf, you can build 6 Elf and then kind of pivot it into things. As is, it's rough. The rolls didn't work out well. He's now at 5 Elf and 3 Demons.
Yeah. Well, yeah, as I say, something's going to come off to give him the Punisher. So Punisher Undead Warlock is not a bad position to be sitting at, but I guess when you're in this sort of position, you need to try something to make it work.
Yeah, you definitely get just antsy come late game. You're like, oh my god, I just need to change some. What? Okay, what? I keep seeing this. Oh my god, I said I keep seeing this 3-star Wukong. The boy's running 2 Forbidden Tomes, 3 Spellbane Staffs. Gets silenced right off the bat, but still deals a devastating blow. Then will be Team Frontier 2 off the board in 2nd place with 20 points. Let's talk about Killshot and Leko, both within striking distance. Leko is running 6 warrior with not much in the backline. He's being past some pretty powerful hunters, but you don't ever want to be passing hunters because you don't control their placement. So they could just end up in the front lines and get chewed up instantly or out of range.
Well, I mean, you could say the same about warriors, that they could end up in the being past a warrior could end up in the back line.
Right, but the worst case scenario is the warrior's in a bad place and takes a moment to reposition, whereas the worst case scenario for a hunter is to get eaten up alive early.
Yep.
As is,
Killshot.
That wasn't what happened, but it didn't matter. That will still be the game. Killshot, do you live? Yes, he does.
Yeah. Killshot has a much better backline. Well, not really backline, but just support for his warrior composition of Beast, Warlock, Goblin, which is just going to keep his things alive longer.
A troubled few, Killshot and Ninja, still have both players in this game. Team Mithy, just 1 player left. He does have perfect HP, though, and a damn good comp.
Oh, that is a good comp.
He's got the full 6 warrior, and then everything you want behind it. 3 hunters benefiting from 4x undead. Double goblin buff, further benefiting those hunters. This Stalker drone must be doing so much damage.
That Stalker drone is silenced. It can't cast any spells.
He has so many items on this famine. 4x Cryptblade. Did that just end the game? It did. Dominating both other boards. And there you go. Team Mithy ends 1 player, 100 HP. That's 10 bonus points on top of the 40, putting him at a grand total of 50 points out of game 1 from Team Mithy. A troubled few in second place get 30 points. That's so good. All right. I guess lessons to take from that game. We have exited, congratulations, the Assassin meta. Warrior meta is still going strong. It's a safe place to go. But if you don't get the characters you're looking for, you'll be in for a bad time.
Is there any composition where you can just take whatever and not need specific characters to avoid a bad time?
Well, Cyborg comp and like Assassin comp for a while were just like if you got the characters on the tin, you were good. Whereas I think you need to intelligently adapt. There's a lot. What I was trying to say is there are a lot of possible fourth, which is how we got to where we are now. There are two groups to play, and Group A has just one game left in it. I think that covers everything. Have you ever seen... So you know the, like, oh, I opened the card and it plays Happy Birthday, right? You can do those, but you record audio too. That technology exists. Well, my writing is very, very messy, and my spoken English is exquisite. So the technology was for me. That's... Thanks. Whoa, I hit the wrong button and everything was a little bit too fancy, but we're in game number 2. I hit the motion transition button, but I don't have a motion transition animation keyed between those two scenes. So, like, things flew in and out and shrunk and grew and... it was great. Oh. Or we could see Cyborg. I just want to live in a cyborg world. I'm waiting for Elon Musk or CD Projekt Red. I'm not sure who I have more faith in. Let's talk about the early comps. As you said, a little bit of Cyborg poked out of a couple of the players. Actually, it's kind of important how many players have looked at Cyborg early, because typically if you see this many players going for Cyborg, it's a sign that nobody is going to get to run Cyborg. Ideally, you only want one player to be running Cyborg, so that at the end of the game, you can collect them all. Whereas if multiple people are running Cyborg, your odds of getting that elusive 6 engineer buff are gone.
You mean the 6 Cyborg buff? The plus, I think, 90 armor on everything? On all your Cyborgs?
Engineer,
yeah,
Cyborg,
really
same thing.
Basically. Cyborgs are a very self-contained race option.
Isaias gets dropped down to 91 HP. Not a great start for him.
He didn't have much of a composition, but now he does.
Whoa! Bad caster. Didn't silence his phone. The early start here for Azaz is that Beast Warrior comp. Killshot and Ninja, who both did pretty well last game but were dropped on the final round, are teasing me with that Cyborg on iKillshot's board. We have Beast Warlock Warrior being run by Ninja.
Oh, we saw how effective that was last game, so I don't blame them if they had the opportunity to go for it.
I'm gonna throw down to Poppy because Poppy and Honori had such a rough time last game. Engineer, it looks like, from Poppy. Cyborg Engineer so far does have the three basic types, but if they don't get a Stalker drone and a Miss Supersonic, this literally isn't gonna work. Honori doesn't have too much of a directed focus yet. A little bit of Beast, a little bit of Warrior. Doesn't hurt.
Could use a roll on some sort of Warlock, would really help. Poppy has picked up the Stalker drone, so that's something. Still needs the Miss Supersonic to make to make Cyborg work without picking up both of the legendaries for the engineer bonus.
I just generally feel that the most important thing about cyborgs is getting a ton of 2 and 3 stars early.
Absolutely.
You need to, in order to make the cyborg comp work, you need to have 2 and 3 stars during the early game. And
well, you're running 3 commons.
Because you don't, let me elaborate, you don't draw those in the late game. You're never going to see a ground smasher after round 8. So the first few rounds need to be you repeatedly re-rolling to get 2 and 3 star ground smashers started. Otherwise, you won't have them high enough level to work during the late game. And that's
Ground
why
Smasher. Ground Smasher is the lone uncommon. It is the one you will see a little later in the game.
Okay, Kai.
But other than that, perfectly accurate.
I didn't come here to be called out by you like this.
You mean you didn't invite me to be called out? But it's just a benefit of having me here.
Anyway,
detail.
He does get a
2-star ground smasher. Yes.
But this is why it's so important that you not have multiple people going cyborg during the early game, because he and Killshot are both re-rolling for the same pool of characters right now, which will, of course, limit both of their options or odds of getting them.
Yeah, and Lecco's sitting on a 2-star Miss Supersonic just to make things a little harder.
You know, as this game kind of grows competitively, I am more and more convinced that we'll start to see that be very viable. Just, hey, I'm a run myself a 2-star blank just to break this other person's comp.
Looks like Isaiah is eyeballing Punishers.
Is he really? Did the Punishers...
Yes.
Do the Punishers want to come to him?
He has the Punishers. He just needs another demon.
Another demon, yeah. You don't want the Scourge, typically, because it's gross and lame.
Yeah, it's a good thing to hold in the mid-game till you get to the later game and can pick up the Executioner. But he absolutely, in my opinion, wants to see the Nether Prince, because getting Warlock going with Punishers is really good for all the same reasons it's good with Warriors.
The reason I typically say things like the Warrior or the Demon Punisher comp doesn't work late game, it's actually very effective to compare them to Warriors. In comparison to the Warrior comp, there are fewer places you can go late game, and the damage doesn't scale as well to late game because you don't have the flexibility of, say, getting stuns. But it does work very, very, very well during the early game and the mid game, and Azaz did just get both the extra bonuses you wanted.
Yeah, so in my opinion, the late game of Punishers, if you're going to make anything out of it, well, he doesn't have Warlocks, but yeah, if you're going to make anything out of it, is building a Warrior front line instead of a Rider front line. That gets you hopefully the General of War for some stuns, and then you can add in basically either more of the Goblin Beast Undead type bonuses for more damage and more survival with the Warlock bonuses, or you can just have that sort of sitting on your the side as a self-contained unit, the same way running cyborgs is, and build something else next to it.
Mm-hmm. Let's throw over to the winners of the last game. Winner Lecco had 100 HP last game. He doesn't now. Or was it Naga? I don't know. The point is, they won the last game.
I think it went Naga, but they're
Naga.
definitely not doing as well.
Neither of them has 100 HP. Are they even trying?
Lecco had just got to 6 elves, so he's trying for something.
No, Team Mythi, I think, are actually looking really solid. You have the 6 elf over on Lecco, and Naga is looking for human sorcerer, which I am on the record as saying I think is the strongest composition currently.
I don't think it holds up against assassins, but other than that, it's probably pretty good. What?
Assassin is really strong into sorcerer human, but if you get a solid sorcerer human thing going, you can burn up those assassins pretty quickly because they're squishy boys, and the burst damage that finely tuned sorcerer comp can do to some squishy boys is immense.
So Isaiah had a bad time. He came up against Lecco, and one thing that Punisher does really badly against is elves.
Mm-hmm.
Also, he probably really needs a warlock instead of a
glutton.
Oh, he's. I was thinking his teammate maybe should have been passing him the goblin warlock, which is sitting on his bench.
Really?
But no, he shouldn't be, because his teammate is passing him his 4th demon and a warrior, 2-star warrior. Sun Tzu is also running Punishers now.
That's good, because that kind of synergy, if you're running a composition that is so defined by getting all of the characters, that kind of synergy is what keeps you alive.
Right. The downside, of course, is that it swings really heavily on, can Isaiah see a 3rd Punisher or 3rd Devourer, and get that 2-starred, because otherwise they are both running a 1-star Devourer,
which is not great.
Nope, not at all.
Here is the same team struggling again, though. Nori and Poppy for Team Xenon, sitting in last place. Nori sitting at 50 HP. Still a better performance than last game, but Ninja will hit him pretty hard, and things get worse.
So if between rounds, if you take a look at the top of the scoreboard right now, iKillshot and Ninja are doing something interesting.
Uh-huh.
Do you want to guess what it is?
Is that dominating the board with a furry comp?
That is indeed what they are doing right now.
She's gone 4 furry, 2 warlock, 3 warrior. iKillshot, 4 warrior, 4 furry, with a hunter backline. That's darn good. They got the 2 and 3 stars to make it happen. If we... Oh my god. iKillshot. What happened? Lecco runs him over. I was going to start talking about the bottom cards, but Lecco just stood up. Oh, he's got 6 elf. No wonder. Because he's got the level up 6 elves. So iKillshot, being very reliant on Hunter, doesn't have a ton of area of effect damage. So someone like Lecco gets their dodges right. I almost said dodge rolls, because I mean the RNG on the dodges, but it isn't Dark Souls, not dodge rolling. The rolls of the dice on the dodges are very, very effective against Hunter comps, because it's single target damage, and I believe it's 45% chance to dodge any given attack. So any of these elves basically flip a coin whenever damage is directed their way, and it might just get completely negated, ignored. So it doesn't matter if you're doing 8k damage a shot, if they just ignore it.
I'm sorry, TJ. It's only 44%.
Oh my god. You're fired.
Well, I'll just collect my last paycheck and leave then. Oh, wait a moment. You're not paying me anything.
I'm broke. Are you really right? Is it really a 44% chance to... You know what the most upsetting thing about that being right is? It used to be a 45% chance to dodge, and somebody at 10-cent Games was like, you know what I need to do? I need to reduce this number by 1.
Oh.
That's upsetting. What a nerf. Can I get an F in the chat for the elves? Anori at the bottom of the board has a grand total of 5 HP. Most of his damage is coming from kind of beast stuff, but that's not a lot. This is again a comp that it will do you decently during early and mid game, but it's not directed enough to win late game.
Also, he's currently sitting at a very lonely 5 warriors.
Uh-huh. Wait.
And there is a world
he could play the
difference.
Wukong. You could have 6 warrior if you played the Wukong instead of like a 1-star Marsh Lord or something.
Or he could play the Executioner he just picked up, but he picked it up
too late. He
too
did have an
late.
Executioner on the board.
He did, okay.
Doesn't matter though, because he's gone. Goodbye, Nori.
Yeah, those that Punisher comp is coming together pretty well.
Poppy is also in the danger zone. He's got a little bit of the Cyborg thing going, but as I said, he kind of didn't commit hard enough to Cyborg during the early game. So he's been left in like this really, truly strange hybrid situation. His composition is in and of itself kind of a cyborg. Part machine, part goblin. And it's not gone well. How can he save this, I guess, is the question. And I think the answer is you either full commit to Goblin or full commit to Cyborg. If you full commit to Goblin, then you sell the Riders. You probably sell the Riders and the Beasts and try and pick up the remaining Goblins. You need the Goblin Berserker and the Totem Face. If you full commit to Cyborg, then you're selling literally everything and just re-rolling for Cyborgs right now. The things that I think are the most out of place in this composition is the Marsh Lord. Marsh Lord is a really solid unit, and I'm proud of him for having a 2-star, but he needs a comp. Oh, but it's giving him the Warlock buff, isn't it?
It's giving him Warlock buff, that's all it's doing for him, but that's an important buff.
Not really for Cyborgs, because they don't attack fast enough. And they have regen of their own.
Yeah, I mean, they hit hard, though.
Yeah. Well, you know who else hits hard?
Everything else.
Sun Tzu. Poppy's out. And that means for the second time in a row, Xenon is out in last place. And that will end their tournament run with a grand total of 20 HP this week.
Oh. Zayas has just picked up a 2-star Nether Prince and now has a Warlock bonus. He might see his fortunes starting to turn. Assuming he actually... There he goes. And a 3-star Nightingale.
Ew.
I wonder if what he's sending his partner changes here. No, probably not.
Yeah, his buddy needs those units. So this is good then. And he's in the good situation I like being in. You know things are going all right if you don't have enough units to put on the board.
Or things have gone horribly wrong, one or the other.
I have never been in a situation where I've been losing, and I don't have enough units to put on the board. Because you always have, like, enough garbage units to play. But if you're like, I don't really have anything to play, that generally means you've cleaned out your bench, and you have a 2 and 3 stars.
Well,
So,
sometimes it means that you don't have any prospects of 3-starring anything because you haven't gotten past seeing 3 of things.
I don't know, kind of.
But that is
I've
not
never
that
been
is
in a
not the
situation
case
like
he's in.
that, because I don't lose games! Naga in first place. Is it 14 HP? How's that going for him? Human Sorcerer.
Naga is not making that Human Sorcerer transition successfully.
No, and this is the problem with Human Sorcerer. If he doesn't roll a General of War and a Dragoon, he is in for a bad time.
Right. I mean, I'd also be okay with a Templar Knight instead of a Dragoon.
Yeah, but the Dragoon's the hard one to get. Just want to bring it up.
But the General of War is... running Human Sorcerer, you need the General of War, you need Lightbringer. There's no two ways around it.
Goodbye, Lightbringer. Goodbye, Naga. That's a bad sign for the champions of the previous game.
Have we picked up Naga's full name yet?
You know what? We're, like, bad at this, because it should have shown us, like, on the introduction thing it rolls through.
I've been trying to pay attention, I just haven't seen it.
Bad RNG. Just like when we play together. Killshot
Absolutely.
and Ninja are at the bottom of the board in terms of team HP. That's their comp's kind of falling apart as the late game pivot comes. They don't quite have enough, but neither of them are out of it. They're all just like 1 or 2 good rolls away, it feels like.
Ninja is comfortably sitting at 4 Warlocks.
Yes, but look at Killshot. Killshot's too scatterbrained. He was trying to go Cyborg early, if you remember, and it didn't pan out. He's kind of got Furry Warrior happening, but that's not a late game comp.
No.
So he needs to sell those furries. He needs to sell those furries and invest in other more durable warriors. Or re-roll a ton and level up those furries, I guess.
Right. Sun Tzu is a very full bench.
Does he really?
I'll just move on. I'll just move on from there. Azaius has nothing on his bench.
What a comparison. The Marie Kondo strategy versus the House Hoarder strategy. Both
now,
fun television shows you can view on Netflix.
Lecco is happily sitting on 6 elves, which I think makes him comfortable against the Punisher comp being run by Azaius and Sun Tzu. But and I guess also comfortable against the 4 Warlock of Ninja.
He needs to make sure that his late game pivot is good.
Right.
But as you say, there isn't strong late game in this game, except for maybe Ninja and Killshot if they survive. Killshot just got human, General of War. So that will help. Those are kind of the stuns I think he needs in order to have a little bit more durability for what is a solid backline. He's got Goblin, Berserker, and Stalker Drone back there, 2 of the strongest backline units in the game. But you can see his front line's just not lasting long enough. So having a few more stuns is...
really durable, yeah.
Yeah, having a few more stuns is pretty important.
More stuns would have been good. If he can 2-star the Kraken, that will really help.
He's not playing the Kraken, is he?
I know, but if he 2-stars that, maybe he puts it instead of the Stalker Drone because all the more stuns.
Moment of truth. I'd take out something else.
He's sending the Kraken and the Starhorn to Ninja.
If I'm Killshot, I take out this furry. I take out the Fire Fur.
Oh, there goes the Starhorn.
I'm happy he's pivoted away. I would take out the Fire Fur. He doesn't make the play though. Sticking roughly with the same composition.
He's only sending Ninja 1 unit.
Oh, that's rough. Currently rolling into Sun Tzu. Not a great sign, but it looks like he's stabilized. the earlier editions seem to have done enough that he's within fighting range of any of these rounds. Ninja, on the other hand, eats a dire
barely
blow
survives.
down a player. She's down to just 6 HP. Not a good sign.
Yeah. Well, Killshot really, his best thing.
Killshot,
would be
send another
leveling up.
unit.
Yeah, but that's
The shit? Come on, Killshot. 10
Killshot's
seconds
just doing
left.
nothing. Killshot's re-rolling. Hopefully he'll notice.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Oh no. The
Ninja
should
gets
be
a
yelling.
3-star for the front line, but not another unit
no.
from her ally. Oh no, she did. I think that Firefur got past.
No, if you look at Killshot's board, there's a blank
Garbage.
space.
Killshot, you awful human being.
That is a tragedy to watch.
It looks like Ninja's fine
I think
though.
Ninja
Independent, powerful.
Killshot didn't.
Oh no, poor Killshot.
That's actually really bad for the team.
Because only one unit's getting past permanently if we didn't. Yeah. Only one unit getting past. So Ninja's now going to win this game with a character deficit against every other board in the game. Sun Tzu, I see a 2-star Guru. What are you doing? 3-starring a Scourge. All right, we're going to go back and keep looking at Ninja's board because it's not causing my gag reflex to act up. Ninja is 1 away from 4 Warrior, 1 away from 4 Furry. So, oh my god. If she'd just been past one of Killshot's Furries, this would have been set. 4x on the Warlock buff.
Killshot
really
sold his Starhorn, and that is why there was nothing being passed, because he'd been passing the Ninja the Starhorn.
We got it. Ninja's winning despite it. Let's pass over to Lekko. Druid Elf, still kind of an unchanged board state, trying to build up a little bit of an economy for a while. Spent it for the level up. He's now level 9, which gives him an advantage over everyone else. But the thing he's playing is a 1-star werewolf, so mixed bag.
Well, that does bring him up to 4 beasts and gives him the chance for the auto summons.
Let's talk about Sun Tzu and his Ass's board, because they've taken first place kind of firmly.
Yeah, that is the they're both running Punisher, Warrior, Warlock, Undead, and that's just strong. It's kind of everything Warrior does, except it leans a little bit harder on the Warlock buff for sustainability and just does more damage, because your Punishers are your backline.
Lekko gets a couple 2-stars. Life's going well there. Ninja. What is going on?
Oh.
Can you make this work?
I want Ninja to make this work. Ninja is passing
Double Marshallord. I did notice that. Yeah. She's decided to pass 2 1-star Marshallords to her partner in protest.
This is why you always play on voice comms in a tournament.
They may even have been playing in voice comms and just not noticed in time. Because Ninja won the rounds. So she wasn't, like, looking at that stuff, I assume. Uh-oh. Now the bill has come due. Krakenstone's landed. It was good, but it wasn't enough. Goodbye, Ninja. Goodbye, Killshot. Goodbye, Troubled Few. They get 20 points for that performance, bringing them up to a grand total of 50 points as a team. Frontier 2 still in this game as Azaz and Sun Tzu. Team Mythi still in this game as Lekko. Azaz and Sun Tzu, should they take first place? Can they win? Do the math for me so I don't embarrass myself.
Which team are they?
Team Frontier 2.
I don't think so. I don't think they have enough remaining HP. They're only getting at best 2 bonus points. If Lekko had died earlier, it would have been possible, but Lekko is at worst taking second place.
No.
So what we have here now is just Punishers versus Elves, and that's just going to go how it's going to go.
The elves get good dodges. The punishers do less damage as a result.
Yep.
Give me that 3-star Scourge. Woo! 1v3. Almost. Oh, Leko takes a loss. Who was that against? Sun Tzu. All right, Leko.
Sun Tzu and his eyes both survive. That is a 3-star Devour. I have not seen those very often.
Being passed between them as well.
Well, yes, because it's the key component of the Punisher composition.
This is Leko currently. Grand total of 14 HP. Beast comp stays in. Blade Dancer
Everybody
active.
is dangerously close to dying here.
I don't agree with the move they just made. They just took out a 2-star Unicorn Cavalier in order to get the Blade Dancer in. Valid, but take out that 1-star Werewolf. It's not getting you anything. You saw how quickly it just died. It doesn't have the dodge bonus. He should have been playing the Unicorn Cavalier. You can see how quickly his comp just folded. That is big damage and a big loss at the end. Leko's out. That's 1 bonus point with the win for Team Frontier 2. They get 40 points, 50, 61 points.